All right. Testing, testing, testing. All right. Looks like we are live. So, welcome everyone, my followers, darkness, shadows, scavengers, and villainy aficionados. Welcome to another live review. And this time, oh man, I'm doing a review about a movie that I wanted to do ever since it came out. A movie that we all have been waiting for, not just simply when it was first announced, but for like almost like 20 years. I'm talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh my God. Like seeing a movie where you have Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together. I was like, this is like a fucking fan wish come true. So, without any further ado, as from the wise words of Wolverine, let's fucking go. Oh man, like this movie. I mean, when I went to see it, or like first like two times in the theater, and then later on when it came out on streaming, every single time it just simply amazes me. So let's just get right off the bat, right here, right now. The movie is fucking phenomenal. Okay, the movie is fucking phenomenal. Like of all the Deadpool movies, I mean, of all the three Deadpool movies that we got, this is literally my favorite one. Everything that not just simply me, but all the fans wanted, we got it in this movie. Not just simply from the cast, but from the costumes, the references, the teasers, the cameos, the overall story wise and everything. It's literally a fan wish come true, you know. And of course, primarily goes to Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Seeing them together, that's for sure. Now, let's just get right off the bat. Now, first and foremost, I know that a lot of you guys thinking like, wait, where is Lord of Shadow slides? Well, unfortunately, I had some technical difficulties, so this time I'm going to do a live review without the slides. Anyway, so let's get out of the way. Now, if anyone who didn't watch Deadpool and Wolverine movie, I mean, first of all, like, what the fuck were you think? Are you thinking? Like, go like on the nearest streaming service and fucking watch it, because trust me, it is a fucking experience. Let's just put it that way. It's a fucking bonkers experience. So let's just get right off the bat. Now, when it comes to the overall summary of the story overall is very simple. Okay, like the story overall is basically you have Deadpool in his own universe. Basically, his universe is dying because there's some rogue agent from the TVA basically wanting to wipe out his universe, and basically he teams up with a Wolverine, not the Wolverine, because unfortunately that Wolverine is dead. Who basically teams up with a Wolverine, trying to save his world, but then later on, they end up in the void, the confrontation with Cassandra Nova, and then basically where everything went to shit. So they had to join forces one more time to save not simply Deadpool's universe, but like the entire multiverse from the threat of Cassandra Nova, and that's basically it. So I mean, right off the bat, I mean, that's why I said, the story overall of Deadpool is very, very simple. Very simple. Nothing like Avengers: Infinity War or Endgame or even Shang-Chi level story. But even though the story is simple, the way how they execute it, like Sean Louis and like all the other members behind the camera, the way how they still execute this movie with a simple story still makes it a wonderful movie experience, no matter what. Now, again, let's get both elephants in the room, okay, shall we? Which is, of course, Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. First and foremost, okay, like Ryan Reynolds, like in the first two previous movies, he fucking delivers as Deadpool. You know what I mean? He is Deadpool. In the history of movies, you have a lot of different characters that some certain actors embodies, that no one can replace this specific actor to play a specific role. And Ryan Reynolds is one of them because he is fucking Deadpool. Man, from the body language, again, from the dialogue, the jokes, just keep shooting without stopping, on and off, and the overall story arc they did, with Deadpool, even in this one, it just simply makes me love the character even more. I really have nothing wrong to say when it comes to Deadpool in general. I mean, what Ryan Reynolds did with his performance as Deadpool in this movie, for me personally, like I said, it makes his performance even better. From all three movies put together. You know, and of course, going to the other elephant, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I mean, come on. I mean, it's Hugh Jackman. I mean, we've seen, like I said, for like 20 years, him playing, Wolverine. And again, I mean, I know a lot of people thought okay, Logan might be a perfect movie, for him to end up, his role as Wolverine with a bang. But let me tell you, fucking like this movie for me personally, I think this is a perfect movie for Hugh Jackman, and ending his Wolverine career with a bang, because in this movie got everything, even the fucking suit. I mean, the fucking suit. I mean, something that Bryan Singer didn't want to do shit in his own X-Men movies. We finally got it, and oh my god, seeing that suit was just simply pure perfection. And again, Hugh Jackman, as Wolverine. I mean, I can go on and on, but he was also great. The guy's in his 50s and he still gives a legendary performance as Wolverine. From the dialogue, from the personality, from the animal type, character, when it no from the animal side of Wolverine and everything. No fucking negativity about that. With all being said, the elephants are out of the room right now, because again, I'll repeat myself, Deadpool and Wolverine, no negative comments. They did a magnificent performance. I'm going to go as far as say Oscar-worthy performances. Oh my God. They were fantastic, like always. Now, this movie, as I said before, this movie, the story is very simple. But the one thing also that's kind of worth watching this movie is the fucking cameos, references, and Easter eggs. Oh my God, because this movie's filled with it. Filled with it. From the beginning to the very end. From, oh my God, from previous Marvel projects, the fourth wall references, from real life events and everything. Oh my God. It just simply, can't stop. Oh my God. You just simply, they're just simply everywhere. Now, when it comes to the cameos, first of all, I just have to say, I congratulate Ryan Reynolds, Sean Louis, and all the other members of the crew to keep the cameos a secret. Now, of course, we knew about, Sabretooth, we knew about X-23, and who was other, also Pyro, so there were certain cameos we knew, they're coming in the Deadpool Wolverine movie, but oh my God. First and foremost, there's all sorts of cameos. By the way, I just want to say right now, I'm gonna go full on spoilers in this review. So if you didn't watch the movie, now is the perfect time to get out of this live review. Just saying. But oh my God, the cameos. There was a lot of cameos I wasn't prepared for. From Chris Evans returning as a fucking Johnny Storm, Human Torch from the Foxes, Fantastic Four. That I didn't saw coming. I thought wait a minute, Captain America is in this? I mean, are you serious? What the fuck is he doing in the void? But then, when Deadpool's oh, he's gonna say, wait for it. Oh my God. He thought he's gonna say Avengers Assemble. But then, of course, Chris Evans is flame on. And I was like, the fuck? And you see him in that old, Fantastic Four Fox uniform, and him on fire and everything. Oh my God, it brought me so much nostalgia, because those two Fantastic Four movies for me personally were always a guilty pleasure, and seeing Chris Evans as Human Torch, I was like, oh my God, I was literally flabbergasted, literally. But the other cameos, the other cameos, like I said, we saw Sabretooth, there was Pyro, but I also have seen that there's so much X-Men also cameos in this movie, from Juggernaut, Lady Deathstrike to what was his name? Was it Mephisto? Azazel? I think. I'm not quite sure. Seeing him again, the fucking Russian from The Punisher. Oh my god! Like I didn't saw that coming. The Toad. Like there's so many X-Men. Like the Blob. Even he was in it. Like there's so many cameos in this movie that like I was like literally brought me back in the good old days of like Bryan Singer's X-Men. Like it was really cool, that for sure. But for me, the four, I mean, okay, we again we knew X-23 was gonna come in this movie. Like we all knew that she was gonna return. Even though personally, when it comes to the trailers, I would have personally kept it a secret, not exactly like revealing the trailers, but whatever. But for me personally, of all the cameos, the holy trinity of all cameos for me were Elektra, Gambit, and fucking Blade. I mean, first, I mean, it was really cool to see the old Elektra from the Ben Affleck's Daredevil movie. It was really cool to see the actress again. But seeing Wesley fucking Snipes back as Blade, I have not seen that coming. And it made the experience even more. Oh my god, seeing him back as Blade, and he didn't lose any fucking touch whatsoever. Like he still fucking nailed the role of Blade, like he did in his own trilogy. Oh my god. But for me, Le Piece de Resistance was Channing fucking Tatum as Gambit. I mean, we all knew that Channing Tatum was supposedly, had to do a Gambit movie, and then year after year after year, like it's been like, some delays, then like the production never happened, and it's something to do like with the writing. Like there's been so much shit going on with the Gambit movie, that like we never got. But thankfully, Ryan Reynolds, Sean Levy, and the crew, they give Channing Tatum a chance to fucking shine as Gambit, and he was fucking amazing. Okay. He was fucking amazing. It's like literally I was watching Gambit from X-Men, the animated series. Literally. From like the costume, the cards, the French accent, just simply parfait. Okay. If I have to speak my French, just simply parfait. Okay. Channing Tatum, he was great. And I really hope that with his like cameo appearance in Deadpool Wolverine, I'm really hoping Kevin Feige is gonna do something with Gambit this time. Because literally, Channing Tatum, he deserves more time to shine as Gambit. He really does, And seeing that deleted scene, we might actually have something there. That's all I will say, But so those are like, my holy trinity, of cameos. Now, of course, like alongside, Deadpool and going across the multiverse, of course, we're gonna have, other Deadpool variants, like from like Nice Pool, from like Lady Deadpool, Cowboy Deadpool, Baby Pool, Kid Pool, the fucking zombie head of Deadpool, and many different others. I mean, that scene at the end, oh my god, seeing like those. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm gonna jumping all over the place and everything, but like, hey, you've been warned. But the point is that when I saw the Deadpool core, basically, like Lady Deadpool and all of them together, it was literally like a fucking, I was literally like, fanboying right there when I saw them, all of them together, all kinds of Deadpools and everything. But of course, besides, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, there's another star of the show for me personally that shines like the brightest of all stars in the universe. And that is, of course, Dogpool. Or should I say Peggy, aka Dogpool. I mean, she also, alongside those two titans, like she stole the show. Even though I know I've seen a lot of people in the screening, I've seen a lot of people saying like, "Oh, like what the fuck is that? Like this is like the ugliest dog we ever seen." In a very twisted way, when I first saw her, I was like, "I think she's kind of cute." And the way, and after that, I was like, "Oh, she's perfect as Dogpool." I mean, I know that the dog kind of Dogpool in the comics is different than what she was in the movie. But like for the movie itself and the way how it was done, I felt like, that Dogpool for me was perfect. Every scene the dog was in, it was like hilarious, cute, and touching. Literally, So yeah, I mean, like, Dogpool, I think of all the variants, Dogpool, of course, is definitely the best. But the one thing I also have to say that really kind of surprised me, like just simply like from the Deadpool variants, but like I mean, seriously, we got like a fucking samurai Deadpool. We got a Tron like Deadpool. We had a Scottish Deadpool. Like I mean, like from Bonnet, Canada, like or whatever. Like it was fucking crazy, literally crazy. But man, so many cameos in this movie, like for sure, and I enjoyed every single one of them. Now, one of the things I will definitely say, I'm gonna go way back, like before I go to other variant material. I just want to say one of the best thing is that I've seen from this movie is again one of the fan wishes come true is to see like Deadpool and Wolverine interacting with each other because like their interaction in the comics is iconic, hilarious, and no barrier when it comes to language. No fucking barrier. Like, they swore at each other, insult each other. They have a literally crazy body cop relationship. Like, literally. And seeing Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in those two characters, like, seeing the interaction, the way how they talk to each other, work as a team and everything. Oh, I was like, it's like a fucking fan buffet. Literally, like a fucking fan buffet. Like what you see is literally like the director is basically saying bon appetit. Like oh my god, from the start when they found each other, from like the insulting, from the fighting, and oh my. One more thing I have to say what I love about this movie is the fucking fights. This has to be literally one of the best choreographed fights in the MCU I've ever seen. Like from the fight like between from the beginning of the like that fight from like Deadpool versus Wolverine at the in the void very across the 20th Century Fox logo and everything from like then like the fight in the car, then like all of them fighting together against Cassandra Nova's forces, and then of course all the way till the end when they were fighting the Deadpool Corps. I mean, the fights in this movie were absolutely, first and foremost, bloody, but really well done. Really, absolutely well done. Like that's something I cannot deny. Like seriously, one of the best fights I have ever seen in the MCU. One of the best ones, So, with that being said, one of the other things I just want to mention, and again, like going back to the relationship, the way how they basically brought that relationship from the comics to the screen is just simply, magnificent. I mean, my favorite scene when it comes to their relationship, my favorite scene, and a lot of people will agree with me, my favorite scene of Deadpool and Wolverine is in the car. When Wolverine basically find out that Deadpool kind of lied, even though Deadpool said, I made an educated wish. And the way how Wolverine was talking to him, and the way how he was like literally unleashing his rant on Deadpool, like saying things like, as sadder, more attention span, half-bred moron. Like I met a lot of people, and that says a lot because I've been living for almost 200 fucking years. And I tell you, that bull chick was right about one thing. You will never save the world. You couldn't even save a relationship with a goddamn stripper. Motherfucker, I wish I could say you will die alone. It was one of God's best jokes that you can't die, except it's on all of us. I was like, if there's anyone in the Marvel universe who can keep Deadpool shut, then that's definitely Wolverine. Because the rant he gave him in that scene, I was like, bring it on. I was like, for me personally, in that movie, that's like my favorite part of Hugh Jackman's performance as Wolverine. Like literally my favorite one. My favorite moment, my favorite Deadpool Wolverine scene, but also my favorite Hugh Jackman performance in the movie itself. Oh my God. Absolutely. So overall, when it comes to Deadpool and Wolverine relationship, fucking nailed it. No comment about that. Like no negative comment about that. For sure. Now I talked about like, a lot of different variants, but let's go back to like, as I like to call it, Deadpool's search for the right Wolverine. Oh my God. We had so many fucking references with so many different Wolverines, from like Old Man Logan to Wolverine when he was like on the X-Cross or where he was kind of like ex-crucified, let's just put it that way, from like when he was fighting Hulk. I mean, that Hulk cameo was amazing. Absolutely amazing, especially like the final touch when Deadpool said, like, I'm Maro Jesus, you're not supposed to touch me. And he's like, and the Hulk is like, fuck off, and trying to fight, Wolverine. And again, so many different costumes, even like I cannot believe like we even got like fucking Wolverine patch, variant. We got I don't remember from which comic series was, but like we even got the fucking Wolverine like that had only like one hand. I can't remember exactly from which comic series it was, but like I do remember reading it like a long time ago. That was also pretty unique, seeing that type of Wolverine. But the one thing that really blew my mind was literally seeing, as Deadpool will say, the Cavalrine. Henry Cavill as Wolverine. Oh my God. I have not. So I'm telling you, there's a lot of shit in this movie that I have not seen coming. And Henry Cavill as Wolverine is one of them. Oh my God. Like, I mean, I agree with Deadpool when he said that just feels right. And I completely agree with him. It feels fucking right. Oh my God. Like that little touch, and I loved when Deadpool was referencing. I love when Deadpool was referencing the fucking like Warner's, the whole DC Superman shenanigans that was happening to him and everything. Oh my God. That was a really nice touch when he was confronting Henry Cavill's Wolverine. Oh my God. And again, like, the way how he put the claws out, the cigar, the motorbike. Oh my God. Like, it's simply fucking perfection. Okay. Fucking perfection. Now I will say, now again, I said like, there's a lot of references in this movie, like, not just simply from the outside or different movies or different like comics, but also like many like different like even MCU references, like for example, Eliath, from the Loki TV show. That was also really, really great to see. But one of the things I always said, the movie is great as its villain. And I'll tell you, Cassandra Nova was a really, really great villain. Now, I will admit her overall villain arc, or as I like to say, the villain crusade, was kind of very simple, because like, she was kind of like, ruling the void. But then after she learned about the machine that TVA created, she was like, huh, you know what? I'm in the mood of destroying the multiverse. And she did, and everything about Cassandra Nova, they fucking nailed it. I mean, the actress who did Cassandra Nova, I mean, she did a magnificent performance of Cassandra Nova. Like, she fucking nailed Cassandra Nova to a T, like exactly like she was in the comics. Although in the comics, she was a little bit older. In this version, she's like, younger. Although I can definitely see this version kind of like, with like McAvoy's Xavier, actually, but overall, like, from the costume, the personality, the power. Oh my God, the way how they translate her powers with the fingers and everything. Because I was really curious because, again, Xavier uses telepathic powers. Now, Cassandra Nova is also the same thing, but Xavier uses his head, and Cassandra Nova had to use like her fingers to kind of like, go inside someone's mind. And like, I thought like in the comics, that was like disturbing. But seeing it on the screen, those kind of powers and her fingers going like in and out of the head and everything. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was like bizarre. It was disturbing, bizarre, yet in a very dark way. Cool. That was actually pretty cool. Again, Cassandra Nova. I mean, I'll go as far as say that she is definitely, from my personal opinion, she is definitely like one of my top 10 favorite MCU villains. Yeah, she definitely ended up on that list for sure. Now one of the things I will say this, like, and we have to talk about it, of course, is the humor. I mean, when you go watch Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, of course, you're expecting his own twisted, dark humor, and Ryan Reynolds fucking delivered. Oh my God, like the jokes he just keeps firing and firing and firing without stopping. Oh my god! And not to mention like the fucking fourth wall. Oh my god! Like the fourth wall, and oh, there's so much jokes that he delivered in this movie. Like from like from breaking the fourth wall to like real life, references to like other MCU references to like Fox references. I mean, like to give you kind of example, one of my favorite moments in this movie when it comes to like humor in general is like, but basically when basically Paradox, the TVA agent who went rogue, was talking to Deadpool. And Deadpool basically goes a little bit like he was like, would you excuse me for one moment? And he basically like goes a little bit away, and he's like, "Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland." And he fucking breaks the camera. I was like laughing hysterically when that happened. Oh my god! But also another magnificent joke is basically when he was playing the TV at the beginning, and he was like, "Keep my country's name out your fucking mouth." And of course, we all knew what kind of a reference was that, and again, perfection. But my favorite, I would say my favorite of them all was when he was confronting Blade, and he was like, oh, are you here? I thought that you are retarded. And Blade was like, retarded? It's like, no, retired. I don't want to get canceled again. And Blade was like, I don't like you. And Deadpool was like, you never did. Oh my god, that was fucking brilliant. Oh my god. Like, I mean, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically he made a reference to when Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds were doing Blade. Basically throughout the entire production process, Wesley Snipes hated Ryan Reynolds while doing Blade. He fucking hated him. So again, wondering about that, I like you never did reference. Now you know. Oh my god, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. And also, I will say this, like I said, we've seen a lot of different like Wolverine variants in this one, but overall, like I really liked Wolverine's arc. In this movie, like for example, like the pain and the suffering and the scars, like everything he went through and everything. With like the mutants being hunted down, and of course, all of them being slaughtered, and then of course, he went on a fucking rampage, just killing humans and everything because of everything what they did to the X-Men. Like, I was like, I really like that. I really like that kind of like Wolverine, type of like variant of Wolverine, like journey. I really like that. Also, speaking of Wolverine, I just want to say that like little Wolverine cameo and was brilliant. At first, I was like, "What the fuck?" But then I was laughing hysterically, and I love that was making jokes about the comic accurate thing because, like, in the actual comics, Deadpool is smaller. Let's just say what Hugh Jackman was portraying. So that was also a pretty nice touch. Now, again, the movie itself, did had some like serious moments, emotional moments, like that for sure. But it was mostly centered around comedy, But it did have its moments, and I felt like when it comes to serious and emotional moments, like for example when X-23 was talking to Wolverine and kind of like trying to say like oh, like because of you I have a life now and everything, I'm so grateful and all that, and Wolverine's like, look, I'm not the Wolverine you're talking about and everything. Like that was actually a pretty nice touch. No, not touch. I would say that was a pretty nice moment between X-23 and Wolverine. I will admit that was actually a pretty nice moment. Now, when it comes to Deadpool Wolverine, one of the things that, of course, they didn't walk away, because when Disney acquired Deadpool, one of the things that all of us were afraid of is that we're never going to see a rated R Deadpool. But thankfully, Kevin Feige is like, okay, you know what, whatever. Like, Deadpool, okay, you can go rated R. Because this movie is gory as hell. Like seriously, they're like body exploding, like tear to pieces, slices, gunshots, stab wounds. Oh my god, there is so much gore in this movie that in a very bizarre way for a Deadpool movie, it fits naturally. Absolutely naturally, you know. So yeah, I mean, like, seriously, I mean, so far, I mean, I have tried to compliment this movie as much as I could because, again, I told you, like, a lot of great things were, for me personally, really worked in this movie. From, like, again, from, like, the Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds portrayals of Deadpool and Wolverine, the cameos, even the story for me was interesting. From, like, the comedy, some, like, emotional, some serious moments as well, references, like, everything about it for me personally, I thought it was like a perfect Deadpool movie. Now, of course, is it like an Oscar-worthy, blockbuster masterpiece? No. But as a superhero, as a Deadpool, as a Marvel movie, now that, for me personally, as a movie, Deadpool Wolverine is a fucking masterpiece. Again, that's just me talking. Okay. Now, one of the other things, I do have to mention is that, like, like when it comes, like I say, didn't mention the fights and everything, but if I have to choose, like, between my favorite fights, because, again, all of them were fantastic. Even, like, that little quick, let's just say, clash between Sabretooth and Wolverine. Even I kind of saw it coming. They had basically Sabretooth, getting, let's just say, tied up of his head and kind of removing it. Oh my god, I just remembered, like, that scene when Deadpool was holding Sabretooth's head and he was like, "This is the head of your queen, Furiosa." I was like, wow. Oh my god, I'm fucking Mad Max reference in a Deadpool movie. Like, oh my god, I really wonder how much they paid Warner Bros. To actually do that little reference, because Mad Max belongs to Warner Bros. It's not Disney property. So I'm kind of curious what they did to kind of do that reference. I'm really kind of curious about that. But overall, everything for me personally, and oh my god, one thing I do have to also mention is the fucking soundtrack. The soundtrack is so rich in this movie from beginning to end, and especially that finale with the Madonna, song. Oh my god, perfection. Especially, like, during that fight scene with Wolverine and Deadpool, fighting the other Deadpool variants. That was a fucking chef's kiss with the Madonna soundtrack, the Madonna song. Oh my god. Now, one of the things in the movie that we'll all be wondering ever since, the suit of Wolverine was revealed. Are we going to see the mask on the head and everything? Well, let's just say for the 95% of the movie, we just saw, Hugh Jackman and everything. But when he put that mask on, when they were fighting the Deadpool variants, I was like, that feels earned. That feels earned. And seeing Hugh Jackman doing the pose with the Wolverine costume and the mask, I never felt so alive. Seriously, as a fan, as a geek nerd, whichever you prefer, I never felt so alive when I saw that. Oh my god. I literally even dropped a tear a few times when I saw that mask. It was so beautiful and so well earned. Oh my god. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, of course, many of you may wonder, okay, you have praised this movie far enough, but what about, like, some negatives about this movie? Well, to be fair, if we didn't have the whole Avengers Doomsday removing Kang thing, the only negative I would have had is, not mentioning or, Kang the Conqueror or just the Council of Kangs in general. That, for me personally, would have been a negative. But of course, with the Doctor Doom, Doomsday, change and everything, which I still strongly disagree with what they did. They could have still, for me personally, they could have still kept Kang the Conqueror and the Council of Kangs. All they need to do was simply recast the role, and that's it. But again, I'm not gonna go there again. That's all I'm gonna say. So, if the Kang storyline was still going, I felt like that would be the only negative. The only negative, I would have basically for this movie, not to have, like, some references to the Council of Kangs, or at least seeing some of the Kangs appearing in this Deadpool and Wolverine movie. That's it. And also, okay, okay. Now, of course, every single cameo was calculated, but like, if I have to have a negative as a fan, not as a movie critic, but as a fan, I would say it's a shame that we didn't have like, Ben Affleck's Daredevil or Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider, or maybe seeing Ian McKellen or Patrick Stewart back as Xavier and Magneto, But I thought like, but with all the cameos that we got, I felt like that would have been too much. I think that would have been too much and everything. So overall, I mean, again, and also one last thing to mention, like one of the things I love the Deadpool movies are the intros, and the intro to this Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Oh my God, fighting the TVA, the music, the fucking dancing. I was like, that was absolutely brilliant and hilarious at the same time. That's for sure. Yeah, but overall, I mean, again, I can go on and on and on and on about like, the Deadpool and Wolverine, but again, I don't really have anything more to say. Like, I did mention some of the things and everything, but again, for me personally, I love this movie from beginning to end. I had such a great time. Even though the story overall was simple, but still for me personally was executed well. I love all the characters. Deadpool and Wolverine, I mean, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, they were just simply fantastic. And even though I do hope to see Deadpool again, back in the MCU, for Wolverine, honestly, I'll be extremely fine if that was like Hugh Jackman's last performance, as Wolverine. Even though Deadpool did mention twice, till you're 90 and everything, But I mean, I could only maybe I could see him appear in Secret Wars, but that's it. Maybe even that, and basically that's it. But overall, if that was like the last time we're gonna see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, I felt like he went out with a bang. He fucking went out with a bang, So overall, like this movie was fucking fantastic. I loved it, And also, before I give my final thoughts and rating, the last thing I just want to say is that the CGI in this movie was actually pretty good. Yeah, no complaints about the CGI. As much as how much they use it and everything, no complaints. Seriously, no complaints at all. I felt like the CGI was very, very good, very satisfying. So on that side, no complaints. So overall, my final thoughts, again, Deadpool Wolverine, I thought this movie is fantastic. I definitely think it's like one of the best MCU movies they have done in recent years. I wouldn't go as far as say it's one of the best Deadpool. It's one of the best like MCU movies they have done ever since the beginning, from Iron Man in 2008. Deadpool Wolverine is definitely one of my top 10 MCU movies of all time. That's for sure. Again, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, they fucking nailed the role. Nailed the roles, as always. Of all the three movies altogether, when it comes to Deadpool Wolverine is definitely my favorite one. So if you're gonna see it, Deadpool as a trilogy, I would say they fucking delivered. They fucking landed basically when it comes to seeing Deadpool as a trilogy overall. Cassandra was a great villain. I love the costumes. I love the cameos, the references. Oh my god, so many. But overall, it's a really, really great superhero movie, Marvel movie, Deadpool movie, whichever you prefer to call it. Man, it was a great time to be a fan. It really was. So if I have to give Deadpool and Wolverine a rating, I would definitely give it like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. Now, no. I know a lot of people will say, "What? Like, wait a minute, that's too high, even for a Deadpool movie." I don't give a shit. That's my rating, 9.5 out of 10. The only reason why it doesn't get a 10 out of 10 for me is just because the story was a little bit simple. They could have, maybe they could have been a lot more bigger or richer. But overall, still for me, a solid gold 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, definitely a great movie. I will, if anyone didn't watch it, I will definitely suggest you to give it a go. Definitely. And with that, we have come to an end to another live review episode. Yep. Yeah, again, I really had a blast watching this movie, and it's a movie that I will watch again and again and again and again and again and 20 more times again. Yeah. Yeah. So overall, here we are. I'm done. You guys, you know the tradition. Comment, subscribe. Give me your own personal thoughts about Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's performances, Deadpool Wolverine. Give me your own personal thoughts about the movie. What did you thought about? All in the comment section down below. Stay tuned. Until next time, like always, Lord of Shadows signing off. See you guys next time. Or, in the words of Beetlejuice, later, fuckers.